Hey guys, so I'm excited to have Abby Green with me today. Abby is one of my clients that we started working together back in late April. I guess it was the May challenge, right, Abby, of last year. And
Mhm.
and then we've been working together ever since. And Abby, if you know her, then you know what a sweetheart she is. She's just beautiful inside and out. She's a hard worker. You'll see her on the soccer field. You'll see her at dance recitals, at school, everything she can be a part of, she's right there at it. But another thing about Abby is that she's got some of the prettiest arms you'll ever see. So, and listen, she can throw those dumbbells around. So, but outside of all of that, Abby has an awesome story. And I asked her if she'd be willing to come on and just have a conversation. So, Abby, what I'm going to have you do first is um, tell, talk a little bit about what you were doing before you and I started working together and kind of how the challenge came to be for you.
So I definitely did just completely opposite worst case scenario. I am a complete adrenaline junkie. I love fast. I love hit is my jam, and I just love like fast pace. That is my favorite thing. And so before I was working with you, I was don't recommend this. I was getting up in the morning, going to hit or whatever class for an hour early in the morning, and then I would do a walk. And then on my lunch, I would also do a lift. And then I would walk in the afternoon. And then depending on how I was feeling, I might do another thing. I know. It's and then I run, we would run 3 to 4 times a week, and we do like 3 to 5 miles on top of that. So everything was how much can I cram in one day? And so
A
I just
little bit of
lived,
yoga, a little bit of yoga thrown in there,
well, I mean,
burn boot
just
camps, and things like that.
a little bit, a lot of it, actually, a lot of it.
But so then you were like, okay, well, you saw the 30-day challenge. You're like, hey, this is it's kind of a competitive thing, everybody works together. We do some a lot of fun stuff during the challenges. So you thought that might be something to give a go.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend Carrie was actually seeing you before the challenge,
Yeah.
and I mean she was just looking amazing.
Yeah.
And in our group we all feed off each other, so if it's like try this new shampoo, you better believe we're all buying it. Or
Exactly.
we're easily influenced. And so she was telling me about it, and she's like, no girls, we're to just chill it out a little bit with what we're doing. And she's like, I'm only doing
Mhm.
this. And so,
Yeah.
of course, the 30-day challenge is, like you said, a competition. Again, adrenaline.
Yeah.
I love it. It feeds
Oh
me.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I was like, well, why not? I mean, it was fun.
So let's do it. Let's try it and see
Yeah,
how it goes,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
And you did great on the challenge. And then you were like, okay, well maybe I'll stay on with Lana for a little bit longer. And so you made that decision. And the first thing I did was say, Abby, you got to quit doing so much. So did that kind of scare you a little bit?
Yeah, because it was, I mean, I think that was one of the things that when I first started working with you, it was like I'd been doing everything that felt normal to me in my own life. Like, this is normal and this is how you do it. And then when I started working with you, you were like, no,
Yeah.
let's move all this. None of this works. And so it was more of a challenge to come out of all of my learned behavior more than it was a physical challenge. Like, I think I told you even from the
Mhm.
beginning, this wasn't going to be a physical challenge to me because I mean, I'll do it no matter what.
Oh
But
yeah.
mentally, it was, I mean, one of the hardest like fitness things that I have ever done, just because I had to relearn everything that I thought I knew.
And it was also not only was I telling you we're going to do a lot less cardio, a lot less lifting, all this extra stuff thrown in. And then I was telling you had to eat more too.
Yeah.
So how was that?
That was awful. So before we worked together, you know that I was a no carb girl. A and I think that my max before working with you, this is awful. I'm like, I feel so this is like the worst numbers.
Right.
I think
It's
because I
real.
logged everything. I mean, I had logs for years.
Yeah.
And my highest days were on top of all that was like 1100 calories.
Yeah.
11 or 1200. And so I, was doing 3 or 4 fitness things a day, running, no carbs, except a banana. I don't know why that was my thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then just minimal 1200.
Yeah.
That's being generous.
Yeah.
1200 was being generous.
And that is extremely low
Yeah.
for someone that doing as especially doing as much as what you were
Oh
doing.
yeah. Hmm.
I think that's something that, and that's one of the reasons I thought you would be great is because you're just so relatable to what so many women. I mean, the majority of women that I work with, when we
Yeah.
start working together, it's the same thing. They're scared of
Hmm.
carbs. That
Hmm.
they just want to move more, eat less, and the more I try to put food on them, the more they're like, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't eat all this food." So, but and this is I'm sure I've told you a million times too, it's like we're a high performance sports car,
Yeah.
and you were competing and you're doing all these things, and when you're not fueling your body, something's going to give. And I know
Yeah.
you had some side effects and some things that affected you while you were eating so less and overperforming. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, for a year, I was at for in 2024, I was the smallest I had ever been. I mean, physically, I was the size I wanted to be, the weight I wanted to be, which I have no idea why I was set on a number with that, but whatever. But I
Yeah.
was at my thing. And I love the compliments. I think I lost 30 pounds that year because I literally went crash.
Yeah.
And I love the comments, but with that, also the things that were hidden behind what the physical appearance were so scary and just I was like, this cannot be okay. This cannot be okay. And so, I mean, I'm middle 30s. And so at that time I was middle 30s. And so I had lost my cycle. My hair, I could just do like this. And it was like, oh, and so it was embarrassing, especially getting my hair done was very embarrassing because the hairdresser would be like, oh, and I was like, I don't know, like
Life's
shedding
doing
or
this.
whatever. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
summer hair or whatever. But I lost my cycle for 8 months. And the first 2 months I lost it, I was like, oh, stress or whatever, And because I have young kids, and I was like, it's just crazy, like a culmination. Well, two went into six, and then six went in, and I was like, okay. And I would feel strong when I would start out the day, but my head would just start pounding between like the lunch and like making it to dinner or whatever to the point that I was like, I feel like trash. And so
Yeah.
I went to one of my family members who is an OBGYN, and I told her what was going on. Again, she had no idea I was this crashed out. And I told her, and she sat down in front of me and said, okay, does fitness matter to you? I'm like, yeah, of course. She said, does your size matter to you? I was like, yeah, of course. And she's like, does living matter to you? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. She was like, everything you're doing, your body is literally shutting down. Do you want to live and it be healthy, or do you want to have no hair? And do you want your body to start shutting down to where you're barely going to be able to get up? I was like, no. She's like, then we need to eat food. And so she basically just put it on the line there for me that day in the office, like, whatever you're doing. I mean, obviously, I didn't disclose to her everything, but whatever you're doing, you
Sure.
need to stop. And so it took me a couple of weeks to be like, okay, I need to eat. And so then tried to eat healthier a little bit. And then we got connected and you made me eat food. So,
Yeah. It's a hard, I mean, people don't realize, I think, sometimes how hard it is to go into that with,
mhm,
because it's so mental with
mhm,
you think I need to be. this weight, or you think I need to be this size. And I'm always saying that the scale doesn't matter. It's just a
Yeah.
number. There's not another Abby out there. There's no one like
Mhm.
you. So
Yeah.
why try to put yourself into a box of someone else, but make yourself the strongest? And I remember
Mhm.
you sent me a message, and you might remember exactly how many months were we in, and then you started your cycle, came back.
Oh, like 3 months.
Yeah,
Yeah, the first like 3 months. And as a woman, normally you'd be like, dang it, it showed up. But I was like,
I know.
yes,
Yes,
like,
I'm
because I
back.
mean, she told me it would take several like sustainable months. So that was the one of
Yes,
the first times that I was like, I'm actually on the right track.
yeah,
Um, and my hair was growing back. Thankfully, it wasn't embarrassing.
yeah. And then you start to look at fitness differently. You start to look at
Mhm.
your health differently because
Oh, yeah.
it is so much. And that's, I think, one of the things right now. There's such this trend of this skinny trend, and there's so much, whether it's just people taking the injections, which are a great tool, but they're not a substitution for strength training, nutrition. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is that when you're taking the Ozempics and all the GLPs, you still have to strength train. You still have to take inadequate nutrition, and when you don't have an appetite, that's hard to do. So it's even
Mhm.
harder. And so I think it's scary in a lot of ways that there's a lot of internal effects, just like what you were talking about with your cycle and losing your hair, and then we're talking about muscle mass and bone density, and so I just knew you were a perfect example to show, because I want you to talk a little bit now about when you started in the strength training and how much stronger you started to get, and how you started moving the weights, and how that made you feel, and even mentally, what came from incorporating a more balanced lifestyle instead of feeling like you had to be going 100 miles an hour every day. You started to have, it's okay to take a rest day, Abby. It's okay to not run every day or do this. And
Mhm.
so tell me a little bit about that.
So before we worked together, I mean, me and my friends weren't, we would go to the gym. We went to the gym on a regular schedule, but we had our set of like we would all grab our little dumbbells and we would go in the middle and we would do just kind of, the run of the mill, like, something with dumbbells, whatever we could do with. And I
Sure.
always, use my trusty 20s or whatever. And so when we started working together and the first week on the app, I was like, oh my gosh, she wants me to go in the gym. Like I got to go in there. And even though I've been familiar with a gym for, I mean, fitness and health has been part of my life since I was in my middle 20s. And so just having to go back there where I guess all the guys are, I was like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. And so I cannot tell you how intimidating that was just to be like, am I doing this right? I'd watch your video like 100 times and I was so just, I don't know, like shy is like not, but like not confident at all because I was like, I don't belong here. Like, let me go up here in the front. But and because I felt like I was weak because I was. And so it was embarrassing, honestly. And as we started working together and it became more of a challenge, like you know how you put like what your previous when you done that exact same workout, what your previous week was, it became more of a competition of myself in terms of, okay, I only did 20s last week. Can I do 22s? Can I do and like I and like even with now like I hear like you're like can you do one more like can you get one more at 30 I'm like yes I can and so just that building up of confidence to say like and I could tell because I did not eat before I went to the gym
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever. I mean unheard of like
Yeah.
I because we work out at 5 o'clock or 5:15 in the morning. So
Yeah.
clothes on, grab your water out the door. And so just being like, eat a little snack on the drive.
Yes.
And that first couple of months, I was like, this is so weird. I've not done it. This is so weird. And
Yeah.
now, like, if I have like a gap between my lunch or whatever and going to the gym, I'm like, ooh, like you needed a bigger snack, which is
Mhm.
twofold from being like, why'd you eat before you went to the gym? Now you're just gonna have to burn it off. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so just like seeing that, but the confidence of just feeling like I belong in the gym, I mean, I love it. Like I'm the least unapproachable person in the gym. I look like I wear all black. I got my hat on. I got my headphones on. Like I am in the
Yeah.
zone. But I love like that just feeling like my element and just like, I mean, we started working together last May and just being
Mhm.
confident enough to go by myself, put my headphones on and be like, are you done with that machine, sir? Let me go
Yes.
grab my
Yeah.
45s off the thing. Like I love it. Like
Yeah.
I love it. And when I'm able to go and pick up a barbell or a dumbbell that's higher than the guy who's on the bench beside me, I cannot tell you what that feels like. It
I
is
know. I
the
remember. It's great. I remember that one time you came back and you were like, dude, I am in the boys club there. Like, I am lifting
yeah,
just as heavy as some of the guys that are there with me. But
yeah,
look at you. You're not bulky. You're not this muscular person that a lot of times
mm-mm,
that's what women think. They think, okay, if I go lift heavier weights, I'm going to get this bulky look. You look amazing. You got all the
no,
definition, like I said. And that's what, the confidence being able to just walk in there is just huge. It's huge. You can't
mm-hmm.
put a price on that.
No, no. I thoroughly enjoy going now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing I think also that people once they step in, you just got to get out of your comfort zone. You basically just have to walk in the gym. I know you would sometimes I would put an exercise on your routine and you'd be like,
Oh my
Lana,
gosh.
seriously, are you gonna make me do this at the gym?
There there was some compliments. Like I remember one time, and I remember specifically what the workout was.
Yeah.
This guy came over and he was like, are you following an app or did you just make that up? I was like, no. I was like, I work out for this girl and she likes to make
Yeah.
me look like an idiot in here. And he just
Yeah, and
laughed
see,
because
you can actually see it right here on this app. She's doing this
yeah,
exercise.
no,
Yeah.
no. But yeah, I mean, just things like that. It took a long time to be like, this is just what's gonna work. Like this is gonna work. Like, and then the next day I'd be like, dang it, it really worked because I could
Yeah.
barely like
Yeah,
walk. And so, but it works. It's just
you
insane.
feel it.
But
It is. It's like I said, sometimes it is very um just out of your comfort zone for sure. Some of the things that I do put on there and ask you to do. And a lot of people complain about the hip thrust and things like that. But
mhm.
their money. They do their job and that's why they're there. But
Oh
you were
yeah.
talking about even fueling up before um working out. Like that was a complete change as far as and I remember there were a couple times too that one in particular, I know you said you guys went through Pal's drive through and you got a
Oh my
burger.
God.
And the
Yeah.
kids were like, Mom, seriously,
They're,
like,
they're like, you
wow.
like hamburgers? I was like, and I mean, my oldest kid was at that time she 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And for 9 years, like this is all I'm like, this sounds so pathetic now. Like we've been so but you gave me a challenge and I told my husband because we're accountable for each other. And I was like, Nana
Sure.
gave me a challenge this week. He has no problem. He's got a very safe relationship with food and like it's food is food to him, which is
Yes.
great. And I said, my challenge this week is to eat a sandwich. He's like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, my challenge this week is to eat a sandwich. He was like, well, go make you a sandwich. I was like, it's got bread. I was like, just let me build up to it. Like, let me
Yes.
get there. And so the night it was like a Wednesday, I remember because we were going to help at church. And I had no time to prep. And he was like, I'm gonna swing through and get the kids a sandwich. Like, and I thought, you're gonna either starve to death because you won't get to eat dinner tonight, or you're gonna have to suck it up. So I told him, he's like, can I get you anything? I was like, yeah. So I like told him like my order, and he went, I could tell he was like, oh, okay, we're doing this. And so I like, we went around the house and I got and literally my daughter was like, you like burgers? I was like, yes. I was like, just sometimes I'm just feeling like something else because again, I do not ever want my kids to have the
Right.
relationship with food that I have had pretty much my whole life. Never. that food
Yes.
is food.
Yeah.
They go with their dad like food is food. And so I remember I it took me like 45 minutes to eat this flipping hamburger, but I was like, I did it, flipping
I
did
did
it.
it.
Yeah, I was like,
I
all
can't not do this challenge. Lana threw it down. I
right,
gotta eat it. But
yes, but I did it.
then you got more comfortable with it. And you noticed how, you know, the thing about the way that I teach the nutrition is that I don't put any restrictions on the food. It's if you want to have a snack, you want to have that piece of pizza, you want to have a birthday cake, you want to, things that's what's going to be sustainable for us.
Mhm.
And it opened your whole new world to when you didn't realize how important fiber was to your digestive and your insulin resistance and how carbs are so important. And can you talk a little bit about how you eat and how you approach food now differently?
And I will say that one thing, just from taking that little leap and being like, okay, you didn't die. Like nothing
Yeah.
happened from the sandwich, like honestly. But I remember that night I was like, dang, I'm like full. Like I know that's all like I feel like full. And so from that I built off of it. And I have realized over the last year that if I like just eat like a sandwich or whatever, I am less likely to even though it's more calories or whatever, or like higher
Mm-hmm.
carbs, I'm less likely to need snacks in between. So I
Yes.
would be really, careful with not eating over, I don't know why my magic number was 400 calories a meal, whatever, but that was my number. And so I've noticed now that just eat the sandwich or whatever. And that way I'm not, but I mean, I consistently eat a snack before we go work out and then have something if I feel like trash when I come home, depending on how I work. I have a little something and then I have breakfast and
Yeah.
then lunch or whatever. So I'm really going off of hunger cues more while, still doing my macros. But if I'm out and I don't have time and I have nothing prepped, then I'm going to go through and make the healthiest decision within reason that's possible. And I've seen that be healthy for me mentally because even when we travel or we went to Disney, like while we've worked together or whatever, and you can do theme parks, you can do whatever because
Mm-hmm.
you're just looking for your main protein and where's your fat. Are you carrying, I mean, my friends make fun of me, but I carry these packs of almond butter, this
Yeah.
ground almond butter. And if I'm low, I'm just pulling the pack because I
Yep.
mean, I'm going to hit it and it's hysterical. I'm like, in old women carry like the mints. I got packs of peanut butter. You need
I
one, I
got
got
your
one.
peanut butter.
But I mean, it does it. And so I've
Mm-hmm.
never tried before the last year, never tried to eat more to hit a number. I've always been like, I can make it off 800
I'm
today. I feel like I could go to bed. Like
under.
I know like we're good. Like just ignore my
Yeah.
stomach.
Yeah.
It's fine. But I mean, I've had for some reason I had this in my mind that I couldn't eat after 7. And you were like, and I remember twice you sent me this picture. You were like, we just got home from the gym. It's 8 o'clock. We're having spaghetti. I was like, she's eating carbs at 8 o'clock. What the
Yep.
world? Like, what are we doing? And so
Yeah.
just that mentality of like, there's no time, like, stop timing it, like, fit
Sure.
it in.
Just
Like, there's not a window of close or whatever. Just
yeah.
make it make sense and move on. And so I put a lot less, like, there's not as much emotion into eating now as there used to be. There's not a lot of, like this could be the doom and gloom. If I'm at a birthday party and it's a cake I want, am I gonna like eat half the cake? No, but I'm gonna have a mindful amount. I'm gonna throw it in, and then
Yeah.
maybe after that, I'm gonna not have. I don't know, that same day, maybe I'm not gonna have French fries. I'm just gonna have like
Yeah.
something smarter
Sure.
because I went for that. But it's not as emotional anymore.
Well, and I think that that is it too. I tell people it's like eating on a budget. If
Hmm.
you know you're going to have that high budget cupcake,
Hmm.
then of course you're going to keep your carbs a little bit lower somewhere else to accommodate the
Hmm.
cupcake. And there's nothing wrong
Hmm.
with that. I do think people, I mean, we are nostalgic about food sometimes or about, restaurants, or if we're at Disney, we always got to eat. But
Hmm.
listen, what you build throughout the year with your muscle, the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism. The faster your
Yep.
metabolism, the more calories you're going to burn when you're just resting. When you go on vacation, you're not going to worry about it. We're going to try to focus on keeping our protein at a
Hmm.
pretty good number, but we're not going to worry about the rest of the stuff.
Mhm.
And, and I think people worry about protein too, like the same thing about the weights. If they eat too much protein, they think they're going to get bulky. But I mean, protein is what keeps you filled, just like what you were saying. If your protein is high, then you're not going to have the cravings from as many carbs and fats that you normally would. So I think
Right.
it's a testament to be able to not, I hate to categorize food as good food and bad food. And I think we talked about this one time because maybe your grandmother or no, maybe it was Adam's grandma or somebody makes an awesome dessert. I think it
Oh,
was.
his whole family cooks amazing. Like, who knows? It's amazing. Like, sure, one
Well,
of them.
yeah, and I remember you were talking about it and you were like, "Well, I'm just going to skip it." And I'm like, "No, you're not going to skip it. I mean, that person has poured love into this and that's part
Hmm.
of their love language is feeding you.
Hmm.
You're going to eat it
Hmm.
and but you might not eat the whole plate like you said. But that's where I feel like why would that if somebody looked at that and said, "Well, yeah, that's got a lot of calories and it's not nutritious." But when you label it as a bad food, then you eat it and you walk out of there with the food guilt. And
Yep.
that's where I draw the line. I'm like, no food guilt. You're on vacation. You don't come back, starve yourself, work out harder. Just enjoy it and then get back on track. But that's
Hmm.
what the thing that I hate about good and bad food. It's like, let's look at food as food and just be
Yeah.
smart about it and, budget it basically.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to ask you, you were talking about the app. How did you find like working within the app? Sometimes when I try to explain to people the online program, it's a little bit like overwhelming to them in the beginning because they think, well, I need this person beside of me at the gym. But I found out very early on, I can only help so many people in person. So I had to kind of branch out to the online, figure out how to do these programs. So I'll let you kind of talk about that a little bit and what your thoughts were.
So, I mean, I still use it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
our working relationship's just different now. You coached me directly for a year, and basically it was like leave the nest. And so, but what
Yes.
I find, like, once you work together for like, just really learn you for like even a month, like what I could hear in your voice from just our one-on-ones, like when you're doing the workout. So I would, you pull up the workouts, it's very clearly labeled on the bottom. It's, your nutrition, your workouts, you click on the workouts, and then, whatever day you're going to do. And then I cannot tell you how many times I'll watch a video just to make sure. So, like, all your workouts are listed there for the day. And then the little button where you can watch it before you do it. And I'll hold it like real close because I'm blind. And I'm like, what is she? And then I'll lay the phone down and it'll tell you like exactly, do this for 10 reps, do this for 15 3 times or whatever, and you just plug it in. But what is so cool is, when you're done, I love that it tells you if you've this again competitive. I love that it was like, you beat your past record or whatever, and it'll tell you after your workout like all your PRs. And I,
Yes.
for some reason, I love that. I'm like, yes. Like,
Yeah.
especially if I get more than three PRs on like one day, I'm like, I knew I
Yes.
was feeling good or whatever. And then also on the counter, like if I'm just feeling blah and then I don't, I'm like, it's just an off day. Like I knew I was feeling like, a little off today. But it is so easy because I'm not tech savvy. I don't have an Instagram. I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
So just the fact that I can navigate it, the food thing is easy, so easy. It's just like a deduction system. You just plug it in. I mean, most people have done FitPal. We're all from that generation, except I feel like this
Exactly.
one's easier because it actually tells you your macros and you can scan in. I can tell you how many times I'll scan in, or you showed me
Yeah.
how to use Chat GPT and plug it in and all that. I think
Yep.
nothing of it when I'm creating a new food or whatever. And then the messaging thing is beyond
Yeah.
easy. I mean, I feel like it's just like second nature to me to have the app
Yeah.
every day. I don't.
Well, and that's where, and you always had access to me, of course you can send me text anytime, but
Right.
every week you get that audio feedback where I would go through, you'd leave me notes, I'd go through your workouts, go through your nutrition. And did that help you Did that feel like that built you from week to week?
Yes, I told you it became more of like a therapy session for me. Um, yeah, like the weekly check-in, I like it was neat to like fill it out. And then like I did, I kind of used it as like a dear diary. I'm like, this week was trash.
Yep.
Like I'm feeling heavy. Like you made me eat a burger. Like I don't know. Like it was just like this, and you would pick out pieces and like this was great or whatever. And so just having that basically when I felt like I was wanting to drift back, most importantly, when I wanted to drift back been like, that inner voice is like, this is not like, go back the other way. Like, go back the other way. Because I mean, I
Yes.
did gain weight. I mean, completely honest, like, I gained weight.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you put me on the inbox, I think my whole perspective changed when you put me on the InBody that first time, the scan. And
Yes.
because I think at that point I had gained 7 pounds, but remember, like we were under fueling real bad. So
Oh yeah.
praise God, I gained weight because my hair came back. So anyway,
Yes. Yes.
but you put me on it, and I was like, I've gained like 7 pounds, and you put me on it, and you're like, yeah, you did. You gained 7 pounds of muscle, and I was like, I gained 7 pounds of muscle, like. Ah. And so just that seeing like my mentality of the scale, like you told me, like the scale is there just for like a metric. That's it. Like that's all it is. And then, we'll see where you're really coming out at. And just seeing like, dang, I'm really building muscle, like was just twofold from doing that. So it helps
Yeah.
like even when you're doing like the app, it helps to like when you're increasing your weight or whatever, it really helps saying like, I'm really digging deep now. Like I'm really cutting it in.
Yeah.
And so just kind of all comes
And
out together.
I'm glad you mentioned that you actually put weight on, that it
Oh yeah.
wasn't like we were trying to drop weight, but we were trying to change your body composition basically. And it was add muscle, drop fat. Now, very often that's what people get a little tore up about is that, okay, now the scale's higher, but
Mhm.
how many people walk up to you and say, "Well, Abby, what do you weigh now?"
Mhm.
People don't, we're not going to, if they're going to walk up and say, wow, look at your arms, look at your curves, look how muscular you are, or look at your definition. Or I'm sure people comment to you all the time because, like I said, you've got that look. It's that the toned look that people talk about.
Mhm.
It's muscle, it's flat out muscle. And
Mhm.
so it's just like trying to convince people that, listen, it's not just about how you look on the outside, but
Mhm.
it's everything that you're doing on the as well on the inside that's going to sustain you long term and keep you healthy, keep you strong.
Mhm.
um what would you say is your biggest like takeaway with your strength increase? What have you noticed with just how you feel with how much stronger you are?
Um, I mean, it has definitely in the season of life that we're in now, it's kind of like, and I always tell my like, do you like when you leave breadcrumbs for your future self, but you don't know why you're doing it? Like you're in the car and like you have an extra napkin or something. You're like, let me put this over here for later or whatever. And then you get in the car 2 days later and you spill your coffee everywhere and you're like, I have a napkin. Like, thank you. And I
Yeah.
always say, like, thank you, former self, or like whatever. And he thinks I'm
Yes.
crazy. But anyway, but so,
That's great. That's a great analogy.
when I started this, I just wanted to like basically not die. I mean, to be honest, like it's all frank, like I just wanted to not die. I was tired
Yeah.
of, being unhealthy. And so I knew without accountability that I couldn't. And so just from seeing like building strength, just trying to make myself healthy to the season of life now to where if I need to go and like physically lift something or, whatever, I like my husband has no like hesitation of being like, can you go up here and lift this couch with me? Like,
Yeah.
yes, I can. Or can you lift this
Yeah.
or whatever? And just knowing that you are prepared now in life to be the go-to or if I've got two kids and they need me to carry them, like I'm not too weak. I can carry them and a bag of groceries or whatever. And so just preparing for your future self is something that I never thought about until like, working at like as I got stronger and then I saw what I could do. You don't know until you know. You don't know how strong or weak you are until you see that you're stronger. and just being like, dang, like I was
Yeah.
the go-to when they needed to move that table, like yes, or what have you. It's just to see you do life differently than you did just a year ago, but in
Yes.
a it's just different. And so I like being prepared.
That's great. Yeah, and that was a great analogy. I think we have to think about preparing for a future self. I'm the same way. I've got grandkids. I want to be able to I can pick them up, we run around, we do all the things. That's what I always want to be able to do and to try to be active and that's my biggest motivator, honestly, is being strong because muscle is the foundation of it all. And we're kind of, it's like putting into your 401k for retirement is the more muscle we can build now, the better off we're going to be when we get to that point.
Right.
Um, so what would you say to anybody, any woman out there that is on the fence that's thinking, okay, should I do this? Would this work for me? Is it too expensive? Can I afford it? Do I really want to make this a part of my life? Like, what would you say to that woman right now that's second guessing herself?
I mean, what do you have to lose? Like, honestly, it's so cliche. Like, what do you have to lose? But honestly, like, that's what I told myself. Like, I just signed up for the 30 days. And so I was like, you can, I mean, I believe, like, you can suck it up for whatever for 30 days. And so
Yeah,
that was invaluable because we're investing in our longevity. We're investing in how we show up every day, especially if you're a mom. Like, how are you showing up? And so just them seeing like I'm gonna like invest in myself. Like I think that has been something that's priceless just to show like even if you have kids or whatever,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, you're just showing up for your like it's just yourself that are accountable for. Like you've got to make a decision. No one else can do it for you. And I think that's
yeah,
what's so important about fitness is you can't buy it.
yeah.
You can't like all that you can do is if you are strong, it's because you invested in it, not because you bought it or you put it in your body or whatever. It literally is the speaking like it speaks to I gave myself time.
That's it. That's the key right there is what you said. Time.
Hmm.
People come in and they do think sometimes, well, I can do this for a couple of months and I'm good. But we have to change the way we think about this as it's a lifestyle change. And that's how I try to teach it is sustainability because I want you to be able to do it forever. And
Hmm.
like you said, when you signed up for the 30 and then we did one-on-one for another 8 9 months, something like that. And so you gave yourself time. And then now you're still continuing to do it on your own with the app, still doing the workouts and things. But I think that most people think that the idea of the body that they want is like 3 months away. When the people that they look at, it's have been at it for years, months and years. And so I think that's part of it too. It's sometimes we get caught up on that shiny object syndrome. There's that new thing that's shiny, everybody wants it, but it's really kind of boring, isn't it? What works? Uh,
Yeah.
it's it's the mundane things that we do day in and day out that make the biggest difference. And so, it's like you just say, just do it for yourself. Like take that as a mom. Did you feel bad taking that little bit of time for yourself to work out? Did you ever, and I know
Mhm.
you a lot of times on the challenges, the girls would be in there with you, like, they'd be timing you or climbing on
Yeah.
top of you or
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because like I'm investing, I want them, like I said, I want them to do it completely different than I did it. I want them
right.
to know from day one, like this is what strong looks like. This is what healthy looks
Yes.
like. Like my mom's eating this. This is fine. I
Yeah.
mean, are we gonna fill them full of gummy bears? Like, no, not always, but I mean,
No.
but they're gonna know, like, if I want to have muscles, like that's a conversation we have in our house all the time. You want to have muscles? Get over here and eat this protein. Like that's our
Yep.
like, but yeah, I mean, my investment isn't something that takes away from them. It's something that we just kind of have rolled in together. Like, I don't know. It's just our language.
Well, it is, and like you said, it's teaching the girls that that's normal.
Hmm.
Just like you said, when with the grandkids, I do the same thing. They'll be like, now this. this food isn't that nutritious, is it? Or like, is this protein or is this carbs? And they at an early age they start to learn, like you said, we're going to eat protein if we want to build muscle. They start to pay attention to the foods, and they pay attention to what you do. And I think you're setting an awesome example for the girls. And I know so many people are inspired by you as well. And that was why I wanted you to come on and tell a little bit of your story, because it is such a great story. And I'm so proud of you for
Thank you.
continuing on and sticking with it, and just really, like I said, just seeing the mindset shift in you and just how much it changed over that time we worked together was really
Mhm.
priceless.
Mhm.
Um, so any last thing that you throw out there, Abby, words of wisdom for anybody?
Don't try to kill it all the time.
Yeah.
Walking days are really good for you. Chill
Mm-hmm.
out. Um, but the one thing that's most impactful that you ever told me, and I cannot tell you how many times I've said this. I was telling you what my goal weight was, and you said, "Why is that your number?" And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why is that your vision of skinny?" And you're like, "My number is this. Do you think
Mm-hmm.
that that is a skinny number?" I'll never forget that. And I was like, "No." And you're like, "Well, why isn't that a skinny number?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I don't know." And it was just that, like, why is 130, like, yeah, I don't know, like 130s, like,
Why?
why
Yeah.
is that a skinny number? And like ever since then, that has been the most, if there was anything that like invested in me, it was like, I don't know why is 140 a skinny? And so just that, it was, quit with the number. Like that is
Yes.
not, there are no skinny number. That's probably horrible English, sorry. There aren't any skinny numbers or larger numbers. Like it's a fixation in our own mind that is defined, and it says like, I'm only happy if I'm 134 or what
Yeah.
have you. And
Yeah.
and now, honestly, like I went from habitually weighing for years and years and years, and every once in a while I'll check in.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
Well, you
just
can,
it just
it
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. No.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I have you guys weigh when we're working together, just so that, I'm kind of keeping up with where we are, but sometimes we do have to pull away from that too. I mean, I've had
Yep.
that happen with many clients where it's just like, okay, let's stay off the scale for a little
Yep.
while. Let's approach this differently. Let's just see how your clothes fit and how things
Mm-hmm.
change. But you're right. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is one thing that if we could just pull away from this idea of we need to be this number, because like I said, we're all built differently, we're all
Mm-hmm.
made differently. um like you said, when I tell people what I weigh, they'll be like, really? But
Mm-hmm.
it's something that, who cares?
Yep.
If I feel good, you feel good, that's all that matters.
Yep.
So I think we pull back from the number, focus on just getting strong and investing in ourselves. I think that's where it's at. But Abby, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been great. I can't wait to share, because I know this is going to inspire so many people. So
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
you're welcome. You're welcome.